All over America spread the spirit of scientific investigation, and the problem of providing personal transportation with a self-propelled vehicle fired many an imagination. How crude were the automobiles of only a comparatively few years ago. Sometimes they ran, and then again, sometimes they didn't, for a car was a temperamental creature in those days. And unless the motorist was also something of a mechanic, he was likely to find himself at mealtime far, far from home and hungry. Just to make the contraption run was the main object of those early builders. They didn't much care how it looked. No, those early cars were nothing much to look at. And they also left much to be desired on the score of room, comfort, and easy riding. But in their crude workshops, the pioneers were working just as they have always worked through the centuries. No vast engineering laboratories were theirs. Here was the American way at work. Here was free enterprise building to a glorious triumph. For a new era in motoring was dawning. A new car was on the way. A car so revolutionary in its mechanical betterments that it was destined to be a sensation. For here was a car with fresh styling, with more power for its size than the biggest, with four-wheel hydraulic brakes for safety, with oil filter, air cleaner, aluminum pistons, full pressure lubrication, tubular axles, and shock absorbers for efficiency and comfort. All commonplace now, but in 1924 combined here for the first time, the first car to bear the name of Chrysler.
The motor car, moving millions day after day on their errands of business and pleasure, contributing to the welfare of countless workers, accelerating the progress of the nation by providing swift and economical transportation. To provide the smooth, safe, and trouble-free performance of today's motor car, engineering genius must combine with manufacturing integrity, and both must exercise tireless effort toward the realization of ever higher ideals. Let us begin at the conception of a new and finer motor car, that we may see some small part of the planning, the research, and the testing that are carried on for a long time before the car is submitted for public examination and approval. Here is man wrestling with the elements and forcing them to obey his will. Before that intricate mechanism, an automobile can roll up to your door in all its shining beauty, brawny workers have labored skillfully in this uproar of sound. From the flaming furnaces of the foundry runs a stream of white-hot liquid. Dangerous business for the novice to handle this fiery metal, but long practice has steadied the hands of these masters. A single false move by the workman might mean death. Down comes the massive hammer, and tons of weight have shaped the crankshaft. It is turned into forge, and again the hammer falls, and the shaped forging is ready for machining operations. Wheels and levers move like the tentacles of an octopus. There can be no error here as the human element is eliminated. The mighty press crunches a sheet of steel between the jaws of perfectly formed dies, and out comes a rear fender, all one piece of steel. Throughout the plant, the hiss of sparks denote that steel is being welded to steel, joined forever with no chance for strain or stress to part that which has been so fused together. Each vital part is subjected to endless tests. Here, with the aid of a scientific testing machine, this craftsman can detect any indication that the crankshaft is out of proper balance. Here we see another extraordinary product of man's inventive genius. This automatic piston machine turns the side, the skirt, and the ring grooves of a piston in one operation. Now, in our all too brief tour of inspection, we arrive at the engine assembly line. After the piston and connecting rods are inserted, the crankshaft and camshaft are put in place, and with a twist of the wrist, the engine is turned over and the gasket and head are placed in position. The engine must undergo many tests and inspections. Each engine is given a 2-hour run-in under its own power, and then it is placed on a dynamometer where it must show the standard horsepower output. What appears to be an intricate maze is in reality a marvelously ordered system of overhead conveyors bringing together the multitude of units for coordination. Radiators, fenders, axle assemblies, batteries moving hither from other parts of the plant, automatically marshaled each to its proper place. Here on the final assembly line converge all the streams of effort. Here is the culmination of the absorbing process of building a car. Now it's beginning to look like an automobile, but still lacking is the heart of the car, without which we have nothing but a web of steel and iron, a dead thing, without life and movement. But another conveyor swings along, bearing that marvel of construction, the engine. Many hands go skillfully about their appointed tasks of placing it in the floating power mounting. As the car nears completion, there seems to be an air of excitement in the factory, as though the stirring moment toward which this army of men has been working at last has arrived. Just at the split second when it is needed, the body comes sailing down the assembly line, and is gently lowered to rest on the frame, and that body is securely bolted to the frame from below and from above. We have come to the end of the assembly line, and for the first time, the car proceeds under its own power. Eagle-eyed inspectors crowd around it. Does it start promptly? Then they run it through the complete speed range with the wheels spinning on drums on the floor, constantly checking every phase of operation. And here they come. Beneath that sparkling exterior is honest and careful workmanship.